assessed a child's treatment needs, it is important to provide both the child and the parent with information about trauma, its effects, and its treatment. The kind of information you provide will vary according to the type of trauma that was experienced and according to the child's developmental level. In this vignette, you will see a therapist and Katrina's mother discuss psychoeducation. How was that for you?
It was good. I feel like I have a better understanding of what we're going to do in these sessions, and that's helpful.
Great. So I know last week I told you that this week we're going to be focusing on psychoeducation. Do you have any questions to start off our session with, or do you want me to just dive in?
Just dive in.
Okay.
I'll ask questions if I have them.
Okay, so let's start with the impact and the effects of trauma and what that may look like in Katrina. I know you've seen some things already, so the behavioral things.
Right.
Do you want to give me some ideas of how her school performance has been?
Well, from what I've found out from her teachers, it hasn't been good. She's been not turning in assignments, I guess, and, teachers say she's not really paying attention or focused or anything.
Right, and that's going to be part of what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is her body's reaction to what happened to her, to the sexual trauma. So poor concentration, nightmares, she's going to have flashbacks possibly of what happened. Anything can trigger her to sense sounds, noises, places. She might have a hard time sleeping at night.
Okay.
So these are things to look out for. These are things to be aware of, that in a way that you can understand where she's coming from and be there to comfort her and support her versus seeing it as a behavioral problem.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is it something that's going to last a long time?
No, I mean, it's going to be there, and that's what you're here for, and we're going to work on it. We're going to work through the symptoms. We have different parts of the treatment plan where we work with you and we work with Katrina and work together. And hopefully when you have a better idea of how to combat some of the symptoms or at least be there to support her, it will help her.
Okay.
Help her through the process.
That
But she can work through this,
Okay.
and so can you.
Great.
Okay, so any other questions with that and what kind of symptoms you should be looking for?
No. I think I have at least a basic understanding of it now.
Right. And some things may come up for you, and I'm here for you to ask questions.
Okay.
And then I know that you showed some concern last week about how this could happen to you, how you didn't see it happening, because I know it was your boyfriend, David, who did it.
Right.
And I want you to know that sexual offenders they use manipulation, lies, threats, fear to get what they want. And it's something, and they're good at playing different roles. They have two different faces, the face that you see and the face that Katrina saw when the abuse was happening. And it's easy to make an impression on children. They know how to do it. They know what they're doing. And unfortunately, it's a cycle of trauma that most likely that something happened to them when they were growing up. So it's that repetitive pattern.
And I knew I should have controlled what she was wearing better and trying to just be more on top of how she left the house and how she dressed and what she was doing.
It doesn't have anything to do with how she was dressing. It wasn't how she was portraying herself. He was the adult in this situation. He knew what he was doing, and he should be held responsible for what was done. Katrina was probably in fear of what might happen if she said anything to you about the abuse or if she tried to fight back.
That makes sense.
Okay?
Okay.
Component of TFCBT is the trauma narrative. The goal of working with the child's trauma narrative is to unpair the thoughts, reminders, or discussions of the traumatic event from the child's overwhelming negative emotions such as terror, horror, extreme helplessness, or rage. Over the course of several sessions, the child is encouraged to describe more and more details of what happened before, during, and after the traumatic event, as well as the child's thoughts and feelings during this time.
How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So last week, remember I gave you some homework?
Yeah,
Were you able to do it?
I did. It took me like 2 or 3 days in between my schoolwork because I would start it and kind of get uncomfortable, and then I did it a few more times and got a little comfortable. But it's done.
It's done. What
Mhm.
was uncomfortable about it?
I just found myself getting a little emotional, like thinking about it, and then Dave was kind of like calling my mom sometimes in the background, and so it just became a lot. And I know my mom's kind of struggling because that was her boyfriend. Now she's lost her boyfriend, and I'm like all sad still for her to deal with right now.
Yeah. So you sound a little torn.
I am, and in my narrative, you'll kind of see that. You can kind of see me off to the side here crying, and then you got my mom and Dave, and then Mario's over here with my older sister, and I'm all by myself because this whole situation, I just feel like I've been by myself, and like nobody even knew what was going on.
Wow, you look really sad and lonely.
Yeah, I know my drawing skills aren't the best, but I tried to predict, that I would be sad all the time, and I mostly am sad all the time, and I kind of feel like all isolated by myself.
Yeah, your drawing skills are great. And let's talk about this. So, where were you before this happened to you? Where would you have drawn yourself somewhere else?
Yeah, I definitely would have. I feel like maybe before Dave was laid off, like we were more cohesive, like a family. Like we were real comfortable with Dave. I kind of thought of him as a father with my father not being around. I feel like my sister and my brother did too, and we really act like a family. We got to all hang out. But once he lost his job, he was drinking more, and my mom was working more, and he was kind of watching over all of us. And I don't know, just one day things changed, and now I can't even sleep good because I'm always wondering. Before I was happy, more social at school, a lot of friends, but now I just want to be by myself.
Okay. So, are you able to talk to me a little bit about the night it happened, the first night he came into your room? And
Yeah, I can. I remember sleeping in like a really deep sleep, and it was a long day. I was hanging with friends, and my mom was working late and overtime, and the usual routine. Mario went to bed early, and my sister was out, and I was going to sleep to get ready for school. And I just remember him coming in and scaring me quite a bit, and telling me that if I said something to my mom and I didn't behave, that we were going to be homeless because my mom wasn't going to have him, and she wasn't have anybody to watch us. And so I got really scared, and I felt like I had to just play along. It was really uncomfortable for me.
sounds really scary. He came into your room, and that's supposed to be a safe place for you.
Yeah, now it's not. I struggle. I have the same room, and I still feel like Dave could come in at any moment, even though he's not around. I still feel that way.
What was going through your mind when he was abusing you, when he was hurting you?
I lost trust. I lost a lot of trust because I really used to trust Dave, and we all did. And now I feel like I don't have a father figure anymore.
So you felt like he violated your trust, he violated your body,
Mhm.
and then there went that father figure that you thought was kind of holding your family together.
Yeah.
And now I see in your picture here that you guys are all separated, and here you are by yourself.
Yeah, now Mario too is my little brother, and I know he wanted a man around, and I know, I have my uncles in Tijuana, that most of my family's there outside of my one aunt here, but for him that was a male figure, and I feel like I took that from him.
Yeah.
Really struggling with that.
Yeah, so right now you're kind of, it sounds like you're trying to keep your family together.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to take on the responsibility right now.
Yeah, and I feel really guilty. I feel like maybe I did something that made Dave, want to come into my room.
So now you feel guilty.
Yeah. Was it something I wore, or I don't know.
Okay. So do you think that, did you ask him to come into your room?
No, never.
Okay. Did you hint to him that you wanted to come into your room?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ask him to do those things to you?
Mm-hmm.
So next week, I'm going to give you some more homework, but next week we're going to talk about this some more. We're going to process some more. How do you feel about that?
That sounds good.
Great. The therapist covers various skills with the family, such as relaxation techniques, effective expression and regulation, and coping skills. At least for Lucy and Mario, you guys know that I've been working a lot with Katrina and your mom and trying to work through what Katrina experienced. And I know you guys have been caught up in the system too. So today we're going to recap on what we learned in Psycho Ed. Do you guys have any questions in regards to safe touches, what trauma can look like, what sex offenders may do in order to maybe sway you into doing things you may not want to happen? Any questions? No? Okay. So let's talk about relaxation. Who knows anything about relaxation? Nobody? Nobody? What about breathing? Does anyone do breathing exercises? No?
No.
Okay, so breathing exercises are really easy to do. We take deep breaths in, hold it, and we exhale through our mouth. So breathe in through your nose, exhale through your mouth. You guys want to practice together?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's practice. So, you ready? We're going to do 3 breaths. So, first one, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale. How'd that feel?
It was better.
Feels better? What are some ways we can make it even more relaxing?
Maybe like closing our eyes.
Yeah. Closing our eyes. What about putting on some soft music? Maybe dimming the lights.
Getting in a comfortable position.
Yeah. How's this feeling for you, Mario?
It's good. Maybe if I was outside in my treehouse.
Outside in your treehouse? That'd be great. Do you feel safe there?
That's my favorite spot.
That's your favorite spot? Excellent. I think that's a great idea for you to do. If things are getting a little rough, go to your treehouse and take some deep breaths. It's great. Okay, so who knows about grounding? Has anyone heard about grounding? Okay, so grounding is when we feel like we're stuck. If we're having a hard day or we can't concentrate or we feel a little disconnected from our bodies, we do grounding techniques to help bring us back, to keep us in our bodies. So, and I know that could be hard sometimes because sometimes we're not even aware of what's going on. So if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling the weight of the world's on your shoulders, there's some things you can do. So you can put cold water under your hands. You can put a cold towel on your forehead. You can start counting. You can play a categories game. There's different ways to do it. Have you? What is one of your favorite toys? Do you have a favorite toy or a favorite anything?
I have a Star Wars lightsaber that I really love.
Okay, so you like Star Wars. Do you know any of the Star Wars characters?
I know them all.
Great. So that's something you can do on your own if you're having a bad day, if you feel stuck in class and you feel your mind kind of worrying about your sister and what's going on. You can start naming off the Star Wars characters in your mind.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. How about healthy communication? How do you guys feel about communicating with each other? I'm not getting a lot of feedback from anybody.
It's getting better since we've been
getting better,
coming
yeah.
in.
Okay. So,
I've definitely noticed just a positive difference, I think, in how we talk to each other. I feel like I'm able to hear what everyone's saying a little bit better, and I think that they're understanding what I want from them a little bit better now.
great. So, right, it's listening, making sure the other person's being heard, right? Giving them their turn to talk, but it's also using your I statements. So, I statements are when you say I first, I feel or I think because that means it's coming from you. It's not coming from the other person. You're not trying to blame the other person, but you're trying to express how you feel in that moment. So, does anyone want to give me an example of an I statement?
I will.
Thanks, Katrina.
No, right. I feel better now that we've been coming to counseling. I feel like we better communicate. I feel like a family again.
Great, thank you for sharing. That was a great I statement. And it was an affirmation too. That was good. So do we know what affirmations are? One last skill, let's go over affirmations. So affirmations are when you say something positive about yourself, or you can give an affirmation to your sister, Katrina, or to your mom, like, Mom, I think you did a really good job today helping me with my homework. Thank you. It's just it's almost like a compliment, but it's kindness, right? And as a family, we want to be kind to our family members. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so we'll go over some more of these skills next week. We'll practice more. Your guys' homework is to practice this for the next week at home, okay? I want to hear some more examples of how you guys did this at home. And we'll do some more practicing session too. Thanks, guys.
Thank
you.
you.